Falsely accused by my ex, I lost everything. Expelled and isolated, I fled, changed my name, and rebuilt my life in a foreign country. My ex-girlfriend cheated on me. When I discovered out and confronted her, she panicked and told practically everyone we knew that I had raped her in order to cover up her infidelity. I was detained during the investigation but was freed owing to a lack of proof. My parents had already shunned me, and the majority of my friends had withdrawn themselves. My parents believed I was a rapist who had just gotten lucky, even though I hadn't been proven innocent by a jury yet. My best friend discreetly assisted me behind my parents' backs, and I ran away. I had nothing to lose, no one liked or approached me, and my college prevented me from attending classes. They simply provided me with assignments via email and let me come in for tests. I moved as far away from the town as I could and found an apartment. After working several community jobs to save money, I was able to stabilize myself. At some point, I decided to change my name. I'm not sure why, I just couldn't handle looking at it anymore. This helped me start over. When I re-enrolled in university, I met a few new people, but I had no idea why I was doing it. I was deeply in debt and struggling financially. I somehow completed my teaching degree and relocated to a country on the other side of the planet, where I currently reside. I obtained a great apartment and settled into my new work. Eventually, I met the woman who would become my wife. At first, I couldn't believe her. I flinched any time she attempted to touch me. I fidgeted when she came too close. But she was really patient. Then I went head over heels for her. Eventually, she gave birth to our twin daughters and son. I adore them above all else and would go to any length to keep them safe. Given that I was a foreigner and had not previously been trusted, her family welcomed me fairly quickly. They treated me well, and for the first time in years, I remembered how it felt to be part of a loving family. Now, I live in a lovely home with my wife and children. We're happy. That is, until last night. I was playing PlayStation with my kid while my wife and daughter were in the yard. A knock on the door. My father was standing right there. He offered me a feeble smile and began speaking. But I slammed the door so forcefully that it startled my son. I quickly took him to his room and contacted my wife, requesting that she put our daughter to bed. She was freaking out, as was I. My father kept knocking. I broke down. My wife consoled me, then answered the door. She wanted to know who he was. He stated he was my dad. I had just given my wife a general overview of my past. She had nothing but pain for me, but when she saw him, she became enraged. Understandably so. She screamed at him for abandoning her. After she calmed down, I told her to let him in and stay with the kids while I spoke with him. He explained that he had been assisting my ex clean out her phone. While searching through her texts, he discovered a chat between her and the guy she had cheated with. She apologized for wrecking my life. She said that she wished to take it back. My father didn't address her because he wasn't ready to reopen the wound, but, quietly, he began hunting for me, determined to convince me that he finally believed me. I'm not even sure how he found me. But I don't mind, he's here now. Now I don't know what to do. I've been roaming aimlessly, considering my alternatives. I've come up with 2 options, but I'm not sure which is the proper one. Turn him away. Tell him to return to our nation and leave me alone. Reconcile with him and inform my mother. If there is a better choice, I'd love to learn about it, because I'm utterly clueless right now. I'm stressed out here, and I'm going to take the day off work tomorrow. My father is living at a nearby apartment, so I'll probably go to him with my response. Thank you in advance. Comments Gentius. He claimed he was doing your ex-girlfriend a favor by deleting certain stuff from her phone. Doesn't that seem odd? Why would he continue contact her? Why would he look through her phone? People who are genuinely attempting to help do not break into phones. This is an enormous red flag. The man disowned you, maintains contact with the lady who devastated your life, discovered the truth through snooping, and then tracked you across the globe? Are you truly prepared to invite this instability into your family? T23454, you're correct. Nothing truly adds up. It's a messy issue, and I despise being put in this position. I'm fighting to find the perfect words to speak to him. Random Questioners Master, Advice Giver 26. Oh honey, this was so upsetting to hear. False charges should be prosecuted and imprisoned. They destroy people's lives. This whole situation is completely ludicrous. The best advice I can provide you? Keep him out of your life. He was so quick to dismiss you without even having a proper conversation. And honestly, you're happy even without them. Of course, you can forgive anybody you want, but I couldn't help but question what his true motivation is for attempting to reconcile now. Good luck, and thank you for sharing your story. T23454 OP. Thank you. To be honest, I just want to use the eye for an eye method and keep him away from my family. I'm not a forgiving person, and looking back, he must deal with the repercussions of his actions. Ballistic Pineapple. This is my first time commenting, so I can't say whether this is excellent advice. Honestly, only you can answer this. There is so lot to digest at once, and it has all been thrown upon you. I believe sending your father home would be the best option. It would allow you to decompress and gain a better understanding of what is happening. You can always contact him whenever you feel ready. However, being forced into this circumstance is not ideal right now. You have control over this. This is your life, and you get to pick how it unfolds. Take your time, consider everything, and make a decision when you are genuinely ready. T23454 OP. Yes, in the end, it will be my choice. I've accepted that much. My son asked me a few hours earlier who the man was. I couldn't bring myself to tell him that it was his grandfather. More information I know, it all depends on whether I want them in my life or not. I know I will never have all of my questions addressed. I guess I'm simply trying to make sense of everything, piecing together various responses from different people. Looking back, I'm still not sure why they abandoned me so quickly. Perhaps she fabricated certain texts. But, if that were the case, wouldn't she have reported them to the authorities? I remember them stating there was little to no proof to back up her assertions. None of this adds up. And frankly, I don't want to connect the dots. Sometimes it all seems like a bad dream. Thanks nonetheless, I'll figure it out eventually. Update 1. Hello, everyone, I apologize for not posting recently. I've decided that I will not reconcile with my father. I simply cannot find it within myself to forgive him. For those who wanted the details, here's what happened. The day following my last post, I went to see my father at his hotel. I informed him that I would not be reconciling with him, at all. He had tears in his eyes, but replied he understood. He told me that he had notified my mother about everything and had entirely shut my ex-girlfriend out of the family. Since several of you had asked, I addressed him about why he was still in contact with her in the first place. He stated she felt too sorry to leave us. Honestly, I don't believe that for 1 second. However, it makes little difference at this stage. Apparently, my mother did not take the news well. She asked for my phone number, but my father refused to give it to her. I'm not sure how much of what he said is true. To be honest, I believe most of it is an attempt to entice me back into their lives. But what happened after they threw me out onto the streets like a crazed dog? It makes me sick. My son eventually asked who was at the door. I informed him it was a colleague. When my children are older and we are facing difficult times, I will tell them the truth about my history. Everything is okay right now. This circumstance has shaken me quite a little, but I hope my father keeps his promise and leaves my new life alone. If anything else happens, I will keep you posted. But for now, I consider this to be resolved. Thank you so much for your support and good remarks. And please, if you know someone going through what I did, be there for them. Do not toss them away. Stay by their side. Even if they have to travel across the globe to find serenity. Update 2. I was living quietly till my father discovered me. What about that one event? It sparked off a chain reaction that resulted in this post. Recently, my family betrayed a vow. It made me furious. After much deliberation, I concluded I needed to confront them, directly. I flew back to my native country and met with everyone concerned. My mother. My father. My brother. Even the woman who accused me. I was nervous. What's the strangest part? I realized I no longer saw them as family. I recognized them, of course. But I didn't feel anything for them, as I do for my wife, children, and in-laws. My mother began crying, attempting to apologize. But I felt disgusted. My father soothed her. My brother maintained his coolness and opened the conversation. He asked how I was doing. I replied by ordering him to cease the small talk. This meeting was on my terms. I made it plain that I was not seeking reconciliation. I just needed closure. I warned them that if they tried to chase me, I'd contact the cops. I questioned my parents' decision to forsake me despite the lack of evidence presented by the police. They stated that they made a hasty judgment and that seeing me in detention shattered their hearts. I called them out. They did not strive to protect me. They didn't even try to hear me out before shutting me off entirely. I inquired about a comment made in my initial post. Why was my father even looking through my accuser's phone? He stated she instructed him to remove unnecessary data from her phone. That's when he noticed the conversation logs with her buddies. My father has always been technologically savvy, so while it wasn't a satisfactory response, I accepted it. Then I turned to my brother. Why did you never try to contact me? He looked astonished and stated he did, but I ignored him. At first, I did not trust him. Then it turns out he was correct. My brother had attempted hundreds of times to contact me and even sent me money to help me get back on my feet. But I never received his messages. Why? My mother had disabled my contact information from all of our phone contracts. She paid for my brother's previous plan, so he had no idea I had never received a call or message from him. So, when I was at my lowest point, absolutely lost, I was cut off from one of the few people who wanted to help me. Then came the final encounter with my ex. I asked her one question. Why did you do it? She stated she was afraid of what would happen. She claimed she never stopped loving me, despite everything. She claimed that each therapy session made her feel even more awful because she knew her charge was false. She even said she hadn't dated anyone since, expecting I would return to her so she could apologize. As if "I'm sorry" could undo everything? But even that was ridiculous. My father had seen chat logs of her with 3 separate partners while I was away. My ex broke down in tears and attempted to touch my hand. She had the audacity to want another opportunity. I was infuriated. I took out my phone and began showing them hundreds of photos. Pictures of my children. Their milestones. Our family travels. This is their first day of school. My wife and I wrapped our arms around them. I looked her in the eyes and said, "This is what you could have had if you hadn't been so stupid." I told my parents, "This is what you missed out on because you refused to hear me out." For a single second, I questioned whether I had gone too far. Then I remembered what they had done to me. I hadn't gotten far enough. The aftermath not. Everything about my experience was unpleasant. I caught up with my former best friend and his family. They were pleased to see me, and I was glad for them. They took me in when everyone else had abandoned me. One day, I hope to travel to my home country and teach my children where half of their culture comes from. But I'll never let them near my so-called family. My only family is my wife, her family and my children. I'd say the visit went fairly well. Edit. About my brother. Several of you inquired about my brother. After some thought, I decided to let him fly over and meet his niece and nephew. I was hesitant at first because we were never particularly close growing up due to brotherly rivalry. I also don't use social media, so he could only have contacted me through my phone number. But by that point, I'd already changed it. He never got an opportunity to contact me. What about my ex? I've left it up to my family to decide whether they want to contact the authorities. If they were truly sorry, they would report her. It's beyond me now. I might hear from my brother about it, but really? I'm just content with the life I've created. Now that my past is entirely behind me, I can finally relax.
Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.